is our program, and I will introduce you the way that we can help you if you are deciding to coming to Portugal and searching for a job and to applying for a job. We have a vast offer of jobs, and we will saying today how we can help you. So first, I will introduce some famous public cities and some famous public places where you can meet local people and foreigners. Portugal is a very small country, and in the capital, Lisbon, you can find a few popular places and meet friends and have a conversation in every language that you can imagine. In Largo do Intendente, here at the first image, you can socialize with local people and you can have a meal or a drink at the bars and restaurants and try our gastronomy and try how tasty it is. So, if you want to come to Lisbon, it's a very good place to start. In Lisbon, too, we have another tip to visit, and it's a tip from the skies, and it's called Park Bar. And Park Bar is here at the third image, and it's a magical place where you can see this view from Lisbon and from the river, and it's a stunning and it's a very good tip if you want to impress someone and take a friend. Also in Portugal, but in our second main city, uh, and our second main city is Porto. You have a lot of places that you can meet persons and meet new friends. And here at the second image, we have Galerias de Paris. Galerias de Paris is the perfect place to meet people while you have a drink and have a conversation, and while you meet some people that came from the other parts of the globe. Uh, it's very easy to find expatriates in Portugal. A lot of families come here to start new lives and to start new lives near the sea or at the countryside. If you want to see and to meet some expats, and if you are and if you aren't in Portugal already, you can even make a research at Facebook, and there are a lot of planning groups, and when you can meet friends and you can including meet the city and ask some questions if you are any doubt. Um, One of the things, if you want to move to Lisbon or if you want to live in Portugal and work in Portugal, it's a very good idea to start enroll in Portuguese language. This way, we will meet new people and learn Portuguese more quickly. Because Portugal is a very good country, but Portuguese is a very complex language. And if you want to have a conversation with the proper help of the school, of these schools that I have here, you can have a conversation and understand a lot of our culture. If you are going to live and work in Portugal, you might consider learning Portuguese because it's very, 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 very difficult to understand our language if you don't have any basis. Although it may be tempting to communicate in English, learning local language is available. And if you are decide to travel in Portugal on your days off or on your holidays, it's a very good beginning to learn Portuguese because the English level in the other areas of the country is not as high as in the other areas of Europe. These courses are immersive courses, so you can have a teacher and you have an international community. Then they are learning this language just like you, and so the experience is very good. One of the other things that you are thinking about and that you may think about, it's the cost of living in Portugal. And Portugal is one of the lowest cost of living in Europe. Almost everything from accommodations to grocery is not is affordable and is not cheaper comparing to the other countries of Europe. For example, a meal a meal it costs around 8 to 10 euros and you can eat in a restaurant and this is not expensive. Moreover, the minimum salary in Portugal is around 665 euros plus meal allowance, which means that you can't get paid less than this amount if you are a full-time worker. The average salary in Lisbon is 1,000 euros per month, but if you are an expatriate, you can expect even more because you can use your language skill for applying. In Portugal, you have a vast offer of public transportations like bus, tram, undergrounds, ferries, trains, and in Porto and Lisboa, you have an extensive network of public transportation that covers the entire city, and that usually costs around 2 euros per trip. If you want to take a taxi or an Uber, that is expensive as well, and in the city it costs around like 5, 6 euros. Both cities have a city card, and that city card will help you to the payment method. And why do you have to choose Portugal? And why is Portugal such a nice place? We have a small country, but living and working in Portugal will be fun and a rewarding experience. The mild and warm weather entice the many expats to try an adventure of living in this country. And once you are here and once you finish your working day, you can enjoy the lovely weather at the coffee with your friends, or if you prefer, you can just dip in the sea and jump in the sea. But one of the most importantly things that you have to think when you think about Portugal, it's and one of the most heavy choices when people choose Portugal, it's because Portugal is a very safe country. According to the Global Peace Index, Portugal is the third safest country in the whole world. Well, when you arrive to Portugal, you may be concerned about the documentation that you have, and you will need a lot of documentation. But we will need a guide to what documentation that you will need. When you arrive to Portugal for applying a job, if you are an European Union citizen, it's easier because European Union citizen can relocate easily. And however, you have a guideline, some guidelines that you have to follow according to the Portuguese policy of immigration. If you want to work in Portugal as a European Union citizen, you will need to apply for the tax identification number, and that number it calls NIF. To requirement that document, you will need a photo ID, a proof of your address here, and an employment contract. After this, you will need the identification document, but if you are a European Union citizen, you can use your home identity. And how do you validate this document? You have to go to your city council and ask for a European Union resident certificate so that you can use your home identity here. If you are coming from out of the European Union country, and the documentations are different. And you have two situations. If you have a resident permit already, and then you just will need the resident permit, the proof of NIF and the proof of NIS. And NIS is the social service number. But if you don't have already a resident permit, you will need an expression of interest in PDF format or a residence title. And the expression of interest is what you made before you get a residence title. A certificate of residence that you can request at your consul. It's easy. And we will need the passport, your passport, and the stamp of entrance in Portugal of Schengen space. And we will need the NIF and the NIS proof as well. Um, so if you are planning to moving to Portugal and you still not have a job offer, we can help you. Here at Randstad, we can help you. A lot of people came to Portugal as a tourists and then they decide to stay for a while and work here. And Portugal has a growing industry such as IT, health, tourism, agriculture, and communication. All these sectors have grown tremendously before the past few years, providing opportunities for people that want to live and work in Portugal. At Randstad, we can research and apply. You can research and apply for a multilingual job, and for a multilingual job, you can use your main language as a mandatory skill, and you can get well paid for that. So it's a very good choice. As a foreigner, you can expect a higher salary from your language skill, and you can of course check our opportunities here in this link, our multilingual opportunities. After you find the match with your profile, a job match with your profile, you can apply and make a register in my profile here at the second link. You can make your request data and applying for the job offers. And in the first link we have, it's our website, Randstad website, where you can find and you can search for all of our job offers. And now I'm going to pass to Luisa. She is hearing with us from the beginning, and thank you so much for having this time. And she will sharing with us her experience. And with her experience, we are making a point about of all of I have say until now. And today she is here with us. Luisa, you are working now at Randstad at TAP Customer Service Line, right? Luisa, I don't know if you are listening to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually.
And so, Luisa, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And I'm very thankful for being here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. To at first, and as a first question, how can you tell us about the Portuguese lifestyle?
The Portuguese lifestyle is very different from what I'm used to. I came from Brazil, and the first impact that I had was how late Portuguese people usually go out. You can find places open until very late. You can always have you always have time to go for a meal, even if it's very late at night. You can go out for a bar, for a restaurant, and that's not a thing that I was used to. And for me, it was very nice, especially because when I started working, I didn't have too much time to enjoy, but I could always find things to do, and it's amazing. Another thing that really gave me a very big impact was how every meal is a little event. I see that you always have bread, wine, and a soup and a meal, and you always have a dessert with a coffee. And all of this is a little event, not just of enjoying the meal, but enjoying the time itself. And I think this is amazing for me as I've been studying a bit of culinary, and from the different cultures is always a very good thing.
And how was your adjustment to that lifestyle, and to the Portuguese people?
For me to be, as I was working at night, so this was a bit fine. For sure, you have a little bit of difficulty in the barrier language, as people think that Brazil and Portugal, by having the same language, it's very easy to understand each other, but sometimes it can be a bit more difficult. But people have always been patient and always treating me very nicely. I never had any problem with that. The only thing that can have a bit more of an impact is that Portuguese people can be very rude when you're saying something, and sometimes people mistake this with rudeness. But to be clear with you, and that's not a thing to make you upset or anything. You just want to be straight. And I've had to learn how to not take it personally because in Brazil everything's about stepping in eggs. It's to be circling around the person. So I had to learn how to be very directly and, of course, save much more time and effort.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, yeah, but it's the culture, and it's very interesting when you have a team full of multicultural persons, and that is a very good a very good place to start and to dissipate this difference, I guess. And about the project that you are working with us, how can you tell us about that project, and are you enjoying being a part of this team?
Yes, I'm loving it. It was a very big surprise for me because when you start working for a very big company and you hear the word contact center or customer support, customer service, you have the thinking that it's going to be a boring environment and you have so much marks and goals that are unreachable. And that's not how it is. It's a very young and you have a very young vibe. You have young people working, people from all ages and from everywhere. And you always have the opportunity to meet many customers, even through by phone. Every phone call is a different story, is a different situation, and it's amazing how you can be there helping a customer to be planning a trip. What is amazing is always a happy thing to do. The customer is always satisfied and be helping people. So for me, it was a very amazing thing. I wasn't expecting it to be so funny and to have so much to do. And I feel that in this little time I've been working through about a year, and I had so much opportunities to grow in the company. And for me, it's been amazing. I really love being working the top projects.
Okay, and it's very harm to see you speaking about this project. And since you are a bilingual, what adventures does that bring to you?
Uh, for me to speak two languages, it was a very important thing, and I think it helped me a lot. We do receive a lot of phone calls from everywhere in the world. We have people from everywhere, and sometimes their English might be not so good. And speaking two languages is always easier because you can always try to understand a little bit of what the person is talking, and you can always work to help the customer. And improving the communication is a very important part of our jobs. And also, every tool we use is in English. And it's also very nice, me as a person who learned English by myself, to have sometimes some customers complimenting our English and our effort. So I think being bilingual, not just in the project, but in a country like Portugal, is very important because you have people from everywhere in the world.
Yeah, and it's a very good truth, because here you can find people from all over the world, and that is a very nice thing. And lastly, our final question for you: do you recommend Portugal for living and working? And what do you think are the main benefits of that?
Yes, absolutely. I would recommend everyone to move to Portugal. I already helped friends to move into Portugal because in Portugal you have a lifestyle quality that you can't find in any other place. As you've mentioned, you have the salary is good comparing to how much you're going to spend. The food is very cheap. You have so much places to go. For you to go out for a meal is not expensive. You have a lot of museums, you have a lot of places to meet that came literally out of history books. And you have so much tourism, so much new people, you have so much culture, and it's a lot of opportunities to go, not just in a better job to live in a better place, but you have so much things to know, and it's amazing. I love living in Portugal, and I would definitely recommend everyone to come and to work here. I feel that working in a Portuguese company, I have received much more support and much more help to grow in my career as if I would be working any other place.
And hear you, it's very harm because it's testified of the veracy effects, you know, and it was really really grateful. And if someone is thinking to moving to Portugal, what's your advice for them, for the ones that are coming to Portugal right now?
Well, my advice in this case would be you can come ready to do a lot. You will always be motivated because the weather is great and you always have things to do. So come ready to walk a lot, to meet a lot of new places, a lot of new people, and you will see that people is gonna be treating you so nicely and being so patient with you, so you can feel ready to come to a place that is gonna just embrace you.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you very much for being here today with us. And we almost at the finish line, and I hope all the information that we have been talking about that was useful for you. And usually all the candidates have questions and different questions. Just let me check if we have some questions at our chat. just let me just let me check. Just let me get a final check. And no, this is a little bit different, but I will answer by an email. And there is no questions. There is no questions. Okay. So as a human resources consultant, usually we have a lot of questions of documentations and of what type of contract. So if you want to have a multilingual job in Portugal, you can use our links to get an apply, and we can make an appointment. And if you have some questions or doubt, we can improve, and we can ask you and help you in this way. So, Luisa, when you was a candidate, so how time are you working with us?
I've been working for a year now, a bit over a year, and the process was very nicely. I was very surprised with the interview, and in a matter of a week, I already had the job. So, and it was very fast and very professional.
And can you share with us in which language that you have attending in TAP project?
Yes, in that project, I am attending in Portuguese and in English. And what was very surprising for me is that my interview was in Portuguese and English. And everything was very professional. You have the thing of talking a little bit about yourself, but to testing the language was a very natural process. Usually, you get nervous with working with other languages, but when you feel welcomed in the place, it just goes out very naturally.
So, and if you want to come to Portugal and applying for a job, and you have a mother tongue different than Portuguese, you can apply for one of our jobs and get more well paid for that, as I said before, because we need your skill language, and it will be a very good thing to use daily. And do you have more colleagues that used to answer in line in the other language? Which one do you have? I know you have French too, right?
Yes, right now we have colleagues that are in French. We are opening lines for German and Italian as well. We also have Spanish, and I hope it just keeps growing as it is.
Yeah, and we hope it will be growing in the future, and in the near future. Yeah. So we don't have any questions at our chat, and just let me make the last recall. If anyone has any questions, no, no. So thank you very much, Luisa, for being here today with us. It was really helpful and really cozy to see how you're testifying here today. And I hope all the information will be useful for you. And thank you very much for seeing us. I wish you the best. And thank you very much, Louise. I wish you the best for you too. And keep safe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Keep safe. Bye.